Everyone, welcome back. And today I wanted to talk about sort of like a wrap up from the first quarter of the year. So January, February, March. Talk a little bit about all my reading and how my statistics look like. And then I thought I'd also at the end of the video talk about what my plans are for April, May, and June. I have a list of books that I want to talk about. The first part of the year has been rough. Kids were sick. So I read a lot in January and February, and then March, I barely was able to read 4 books. And that was kind of a combination of things. I, for one, was dealing with illness myself. My kids were sick. But then it was just like, I didn't want to read anymore. I just didn't want to read anything. I read a lot of new releases in February that just kind of let me down. I didn't really like them at all. So I just got into a reading slump. But then I finally read a book that got me out of my reading slump, made me excited about reading again. And I was like, okay, all right. And then, of course, I do what I always do. I put a ton of holds on at my library because, that's what I do. I'll get caught up on all my reading, and then I'm like, what do I read now? And then something will inspire me. And then it's like, oh, click, 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 click. And I have 12 books, which I have 11 books to talk about today. But first off, talk about what the first quarter looked like. So I read a total of 24 books for the first quarter. And most of those, I only gave 4 of those 5-star reads. The rest of them were mostly 4 stars, some 3.5s. But it was a total of 8,300 pages that I read. And this is according to Storygraph, because I'm now doing Storygraph, not necessarily Goodreads. I'm really liking Storygraph. I like how it tracks everything and finding it very interesting. And most of what I read was fantasy. It was fantasy romance. That's, I think, my thing now. Not just paranormal, supernatural, which I still love. That's, of course, always going to be near and dear to my heart. But I'm really liking fantasy, too. So my average rating, it said, was 4.3 stars for those 24 books. And 10 of those were on my 24 books for 24 that I plan to read this year. So I think I'm doing fairly good on my list so far. So of course, I didn't meet my goal for having one video out a week. Sorry, it didn't happen. I tried really hard, but life throws you for a loop sometimes. But hopefully I'm back on track. Hopefully all the illnesses are gone. We're now getting some warmer weather. Very happy about that. So hopefully we're doing well. So my TBR. Now, we know that I can read 11 books in 1 month if everything goes well. But I'm giving myself some, room to breathe here because who knows what April and May is going to bring. So, on my list, I have These Infinite Threads, which I'm already halfway through and I'm really enjoying it. It's book 2 in my series that I'm reading. The Fake Mate, Ninth House, Siege and Storm, Spells for Forgetting, Immortal Longings, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, as well as The Wicked King, Powerless, The Idea of You, and The 7-Year Slip. So, those are my 11 books on my list for this next quarter. I could read all of those in April or May and then have a new set. But that is my TBR, and I do plan on sticking to this TBR because all of these I want to read, and all of these sound really interesting. I don't really know a lot about any of them though, so it's kind of let's see how this works out. The little bit that I know has made me very interested, and some of these are on my 24 books for 24, that list. So slowly checking that off. I really like having a checklist and then just marking it off. It feels great. But that is everything that I plan to read, and we'll see if I hit another 24 books in this next quarter or if it slows down. But definitely gonna look at these 11 books. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you're excited about reading over this spring, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.